Mic lock button is on.
Well, when we put drum machines on a track, it's very important, you know. We start with the drums, and then those bits that we did were actually done before the squeeze box was recorded. We couldn't find it. We actually lost it in the studio. I think Sonic Ive had taken it for something. It was one of these old squeeze boxes, and when you played it, it gave you the sounds of revelation and a luminosity. And so that was quite important to do on the track and to have on there. You know, very, very important indeed. And we wanted to do something different with techno, so we wanted to do, instead of just putting a rhythm, we wanted different things happening on top of the rhythm. It was like the rhythm just we just wanted to float things on top of the rhythm. I think that was the kind of thing that we were getting at, you know. What about the grime artists? The grime artists, the ones that the people that use. Oh right, so well, we just threw everything into the track really, but what we're going to do is we're going to have that first beat that you've just heard. It's not actually a finished track. No, we're redoing it for the album, but we've got different versions of that track, and it's kind of a concept really when you hear it. When you hear that tune, it's like it's real. It's a real concept. You know, it's a kind of what Boards of Canada would do, or what Boards of Canada would do. Ask me another question, because we seem to be running out. Do you think what you guys are doing at the moment is more intelligent than your older stuff? Yeah. Well, actually, it was more Zach's contribution on the track. I don't know if you hear, but like, we had some bits which I was like, should it work? And Zach's like, well, should I throw him in? I was like, yeah, go on then. Go on, throw them in and see if they work, and if they don't, screw it. So you say that you've stopped listening to music. You used to listen to Death Grips and Boards of Canada. Now you don't listen to music. We'd rather listen to something by mistake, than just somebody recommending us something. Like Death Grips, somebody recommended, and Sir Alex from Transpire Digital, which we were going to be on that label years ago. But now people I remember we were in the bike shop doing some work for friends, and the guy who owned the bike shop he said, I need to think a minute, and he stuck on this music. I'm like, what's this? And like, shh, I need to think. And he's like, this is dervish music. I'm like, what? And we were just drawn in by it. So I think to have that, that dervish side to the music, is really, really important. To have a sacred spiritual side to the music is really, really important. And you said you were reading up for future gigs, having the people just turning up anywhere and you not playing, you not turning up. Do you think that's kind of rebellious? Yeah, but in a good way. Because we can go to those gigs, we can turn up and people can listen to our music. Hey, check out this, and it can be our music, But this is what we like, people playing music at their gigs. I mean, we're not there, but we're present. We can be everywhere. We can be coming out of everybody's speakers. We can play to 24 venues or 1,000 venues at once and still get heard, still be whatever that's going to be, Our communities are dying each time. Just because they haven't heard our music yet. And you've been 4 years in the studio recording the last album. No, we've been no, that's wrong. We spent 2 years recording Unsummoned. And we spent 3 years recording, or 2 or 3 years recording Return of the Sun God. And now there's bits we were like, let's do another album after that, and I went off and did my own thing. And from doing that, they let me produce this album. Gates was like, I'm standing back and letting you do this thing. It's become more kind of like the old days of ieproks. But it's great because I was in a club with Zach after the gig when we did this track, and we were like, can't be asked to go in the studio again. But let's put a track together, So it's kind of something we've done off tour, It sounds like you've just gone in the studio and put this thing together. Well, yeah, I mean, it's bits off stuff we were working on anyway, with just some beats riding over the top of it. It sounds like the Macabre again, doesn't it? Macabre, one of our greatest tracks ever written. One of the best tracks ever written. What was that about techno gods? Do you feel that the techno is a god? I think techno is a spiritual thing. No, I don't think techno is a spiritual thing. I think dance is a spiritual thing. I think techno is a state of importance. we've been after escaping so long. Absolutely so long. It's unreal. You know. I think people just going to a gig and dancing is just, you know. Now talk about the pictures for the next project. Why so many pictures? Why? Well, why? You know, it's an idea. You know. Yeah, it's an idea. Where people were asking for a hypno trance thing, and we just given them that. You know, things evolving and revolving, I guess. You know. I mean, people have just stopped. They're forgetting now that time is absolutely important to them. They know that the you know, everything's like when we did everything, when we did the last album, everything was communal. Now it's not. It's like, let's break down the communities or break up the communities. And it's like, you know, this album, the Return of the Sun God album, once that goes out in, I think, well, they said March at the latest, with it, following 2 singles. So it is a big album. It's a big thing we've done, but nothing as big. I mean, there's a few tracks going here and there, but once fans hear it, you know, that's important. So for the Underground Notebook, what's important for you? Is it lots of drug taking, or lots of, you know, youth, lots of rebellious youths, or well, actually, the rebellious youths is a very important thing, because we want everybody to we want them to turn off mainstream media, and we want them to get an immediate understanding straight away. You know, we've got a new logo which is more radical than the Radical Angels will ever be. But it's like religious, but like a political standpoint. It's a raven with a serpent body. Sorry, no, it's it's a iguana with a serpent body, but we are doing a raven for something else. But somebody's said, why don't you do a serpent with a mushroom head? You know, because that's like symbolizes the order of chaos, and it's like everything is. We like the fact that people understand that what we do is chaotic. But, you know, our fans understand what we do, and they don't need to explain. You don't need to explain anything. You know. So what you're basically making artwork that you don't need to explain things to people. Not really. We don't like people understanding things. I think that was the message that Tom Six was trying to put behind the Human Centipede too, is that once you understand something, everybody then, you know, it's you might as well move on. You might as well die, you know. Death grips. Nobody understood death grips, and that was the best way. You know, you either love or hate what they do. It's, you know. the patterns, the grooves. As long as you can put something down and people like it and go, wow, where did he do that? You know, was he a DJ? Was he was there a keyboardist there? And it's like, we're different. We're not a secret band, but we work. The way we work is we don't explain things to people. We'd rather try and that you know, work for themselves, because you know, it's just one of those things. You know, there's a lot of bands that have been like it, and that's, you know, this is why there has been. This is why pop music is so disgusting now. It didn't used to be, but it is now, because it's all based on sales. We're not based on making money through our records. What we want to do is make a message. And the thing is trying to understand things through different psychedelic things. You know, people might have been, you know, and I think once you once you project yourself through the art, then and people can see you through that, then they don't need to understand what you're doing. They don't need to understand what you're doing. They just need to understand you as an artist, and the message needs to be something that it needs to be a different message for a different person. It can't be the same message for everybody. You might as well stop. You might as well stop this moment if that's what you're trying to do. I love the surrealist idea through the Unsummoned album, but I think that kind of went, and it kind of... No, I think you're wrong. I think the abstract ways of going through things is, you know, the whole going over the edge. And I think kind of once you start going over the edge, you're more open to ideas and things. Whereas if you don't go over the edge, you're kind of, well, I can't do that. Maybe it's not going to work. Maybe it's never going to happen. But if you just go over the edge with your art, with your music, with your whatever you do, then maybe it just might work. You know, even if it doesn't work, it might work for somebody else. That's the way we look at it. Anyway.
Mic trigger. Mic lock. Finish recording.